Alright, so time to take a deep dive on JSX. So before we go further, I would like to clean up the application a bit more. So we have the source folder in our project, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete all of these files. So app.css, app.test.js. I'll leave the index.css and index.js as it is. I will also keep the logo, and I can also delete the setup tests, and yeah, I think this should be enough for the time being, and I'll just delete them. And then what I'll do is I'll go to the app.js, and here also I'm going to simply clean up all the HTML like so. And since we have already deleted the app.css, we have to remove this import statement as well. We'll keep the logo over here, and with this, if we now try to compile our application, we are going to get some error. And as you can see here, the compilation error is showing up where it is saying us that parsing error is there, an unexpected token. So basically you cannot have a blank JSX being returned from a component, and that is why this error is showing up. So how do we fix this issue? Well, we can just put a JSX over here. So I'll just put a division, and I'll just put a message, hello world from React. And when I save it, yeah, I get some more warnings where it says that the logo is defined but never used. So we have this logo over here, but we are not using it actively. So I'll just comment it for the time being, like so. You can comment out by pressing /. And when I save it now, compilation has been successful. And if I go to my browser, I can see that the change has been reflected, and I can now see the hello world from React message showing up here. So this is the simplest example of JSX, where you have only one HTML tag and then some message over here. And this is the smallest piece of JSX that you can return from your app component. Well, technically you could have a JSX even smaller, where you don't even have a message over here, like so. And even then it will be compiled successfully. But then nothing will show up on the screen as well. So it doesn't add any value to your application. We could also have something like expressions in JSX. So what does that mean? For example, we can go like something like this. Before that, I'll just reduce the size of this, and I'll also close this so that you can see the code in a better way. So we could have something like this, const name Saurabh, and then within here we could say hello from, and we could embed the expression. So in this case, this expression evaluates to the value of name, and that will be printed on our screen. So let's see that. So if we save the app.js, and if you go back to our browser, we can see hello from Saurabh. Expressions can basically be anything. So you could also have something like this, 2 plus 6, and this evaluates to an expression that is 8. So if we save this and we go to the browser, we'll see hello from 8. So basically at the time of rendering, 2 plus 6 was evaluated and the output was rendered on the screen. You could also have a function evaluated as part of this expression syntax. So we could have something like this. Say we have two variables. One is first name and the second one is last name. And then we could have a function format name, and what it does is basically it returns first name plus with a space last name. And then instead of this 2 plus 6, we basically call the format name function over here, like so. And if we save this now, compilation has been successful, and we can see hello from Saurabh Tashora being printed. So basically this function was called, and then this function returned first name plus last name, and that was rendered on the screen. JSX itself is also an expression, so it can be part of if-else conditions, and based on that if-else condition, we can render different pieces of JSX. Let's see that in action. So we could have a variable, let flag is equal to true, and then we have this format name function, but we could use something like this flag to determine what to render. So if flag is true, then we return our usual JSX, and else we can return something else. We could say hello from stranger. And if you compile this now, and go to our UI, we can see the same message being popping up. But if we change the flag value to false, and if we compile it now, and then if we go to our browser, we can see the new message, hello from a stranger. So this time, this flag value was evaluated, and since it was false, a different piece of JSX was rendered on the UI. So this is how you can work with JSX as expressions. JSX can also have attributes. So you can have attributes such as an image source or any other attribute such as a class. Let's see how that can be done. So I'll just clean up all of this code and we will uncomment our logo once more, and I'll remove this conditional also from over here. So we will just have this particular return statement, and instead of this hello world message, we are going to have something else. So here also we will arrange it like this. So within this division, we are going to put an image tag, and in the source, we will have logo like so. So if we compile our code now, we can see that the logo has been rendered successfully. So basically here in our image tag, we are passing the source of the image as the logo, and this logo has been passed as an attribute within parentheses. And this is how you can utilize attributes along with JSX. If a tag is empty, we could also terminate that tag like this. So for example, we want to have an empty division, and usually we write it like this. But with JSX, we can simply terminate it like so. And this also basically does the same thing. As you can see, it was an empty tag, empty division. So nothing was rendered. And this is how we represented it. In JSX, you could also specify children's within a higher tag. So for example, we have a division, and within that division, we want to have an h1 tag saying hello message, and then maybe a paragraph, welcome to my first React application. And this is basically a combination of div tag and its children tags. So h1 and p over here are children to the division tag. So these are all the key aspects about JSX or JavaScript XML syntax. We covered all the aspects such as looking at a simple JSX. We also had attributes in a JSX, children within a JSX, and also we handled expressions, passing functions in a JSX. In the next video, we are going to look at React DOM update process and how frequently React updates its DOM to depict the UI changes. So stay tuned for that.